Hello, folks out there. This episode of the podcast is partnered by Audible. Greg, you know what I love about Audible?
What do you love about Audible,
I
John?
don't have to pick up a book anymore and carry it around with me. In fact, I carry it around in my phone, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. They literally keep thousands of titles right on your phone, accessible at any time when you're driving, when you're cooking, when you're mowing the lawn, changing a diaper, doesn't matter. It's all right there at your fingertips, John. They've got podcasts, they've got lectures, they've got some like health and wellness and like fitness series on there that if you just are looking for something to fill that gap, like you're not getting into a book right now, it's all there for you, man.
If you're a member, Greg, what's cool about it is you get 3 titles per month. The first one you can pick whatever you want. Like I've said, I'll probably start hitting up some of those health and wellness books. And then what's awesome is they have 2 Audible exclusives. Exclusives, folks. You can't get it anywhere else.
It's true. That is very true. So, if you guys want to get on the Audible train, you can go to audibletrial.com slash JATG. That stands for Johnny and the Greg. Hook yourself up with a 30-day free trial. No promises, no nothing. If you don't like it, which I can't imagine you're not going to like it, you can cancel at any time. But the great thing about that is the books you get during your free trial, or if at any time, those books are yours. Like you get to keep them. You can listen to them nonstop, anytime, all the time.
Sounds like a deal to me, man. So if you guys are smart, like I know you guys are, because you already listen to this podcast, sign yourself up, guys. What do you got to lose? It's 30-day free
Yeah,
trial, and it's books, it's knowledge. Gotta drink it up.
it is. It is. So one more time, it is audibletrial.com slash JATG. I don't think I mean either of those things, but
Cute, clever, neat. You're clever. I think anybody
thank you.
that is your comedic timing's good. You're witty with it. It's clever, right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we were talking about that not too long ago. If I had to be a stand-up comedian, are you a joke guy? Are you a storyteller guy? I think it'd
Where do
be
you
a
think you'd
story.
be?
I think stories. I think it'd be like
Storytelling.
a
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. You're pretty good at it.
like a
Like
ton.
elongating and then like taking the steps, and then all of a sudden there's the
Yeah,
moment. Yeah.
yeah, hitting humor.
Not only that, you're pretty good at you can react. You just show reactions well, like what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Like you're doing
Yeah,
the um like, and then she said, "I'll have 25 cents." I was like, yeah, you have that good timing. Yeah, I think I'd go the same route, storytelling, because you can involve yourself in it,
yeah, yeah.
and sometimes this is coming from my past when I was doing theater work. When the crowd starts laughing, it energizes you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll teach you that comedic timing. It'll like, oh, I can hold this face a little longer because people seem to be getting a kick out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So hey, man, how was your fourth?
Fourth was good. It
Yeah,
was because the fourth was Sunday. It means we started the fourth Saturday.
pretty much. Yeah.
And because I did a very long smoked pork butt, my fourth started.
You
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
but
I said, but um, my fourth started at like 3 a.m. on what is technically Saturday morning, Friday night. So
you did
it
one of those.
was it was good. I mean, it turned out super super awesome. Probably one of the best pork butts I've ever made. And yeah, took it to a 6-year-old's birthday party, which it went over very well. And
Good.
then did fireworks that same night, like the Tent City fireworks, which were actually terrible. They were
Are you
not.
into fireworks?
I am, yeah. I like
Okay.
fireworks.
Yeah, I don't care. I feel like I've seen them once. Actually, I feel like I've seen them all in my childhood. They haven't gotten better since my childhood.
Yeah, it's not really a new spin on, at least not that I
No,
can tell. I mean,
no.
I like the, I don't know, M60s, M90s, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
The just flash and then explosions. I think those are fun. But it was from where we were watching them. We were watching the city fireworks, and then from behind us, like someone else, like a neighborhood. I can only guess it was one of those things where like the entire neighborhood pitched in and got fireworks, and they were putting on a better show than the city was. Which you're like, come on, but the city does. So the city has its own, and then there's a citywide festival coming up second weekend in August.
Do you think the city's doing that because they just can't afford it? Like they're putting out other fires?
I don't know. I would think because they skipped the fireworks show last year because of COVID, that they would have like double the budget. But that's probably not.
Maybe that budget went elsewhere to like pay the people that, instead of
or PPE or something.
We had to have shitty fireworks and you get food on the table, or I'm just saying.
I don't know, but I know it was like they had. It was like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and they kind of just like singles and doubles.
So it's like they had 15, and they're like, guys, we gotta space this out.
Yeah, and then they had one where it's like boom, 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 and like these big high ones all going off.
Yeah,
we're like, okay, that was cool. And then it was like a pause. We're like, was that it? And then they set off like another like 15 of like just the explosions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's happening? So I think what happened is like the grand finale, which was still would have been a very short fireworks show. They didn't set it all off at once. Like the fuse broke or something happened, and so it like came in like 3 stages, and we went, oh, okay.
I don't. Ursula was trying to get us all out yesterday. What's funny is my daughter, she's not there yet. It's just she's just not there. The bang, the loud noises, like she's the type of the loud noises to her are too much. When she goes into a public restroom and she flushes the toilet, there's someone that like it sounds like it's actually opening up a portal in time. There's so much like force going through that toilet. Yeah, she covers her ears up. And so right now that she's at that age where it's just like she's just not into it. And we tried to have her. She held one sparkle and she was like, "Okay, I don't need to hold another one." She just ran inside and started watching TV or something. She didn't care.
I like where you can feel it in your chest, like those are. I think that's fun. I would in no way like it if someone was shooting at me with stuff like that.
Of course not.
But for entertainment purposes, I like that.
Yeah. I wonder if you're. I'll save that for another day. So we had some things happen. I think the last week and a half that we thought we'd get a couple of people on to talk about it, because I purposely haven't looked into this because I think I come at it better questioning stuff I don't fully understand during the show than if I have all the information. I'm just ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So with Bill Cosby and Allison Mack getting out of prison.
Yeah.
Okay. So walk me through Bill.
It even added on to the. Okay. There's more than just Allison Mack and Bill Cosby. I think you got to throw on James Franco, and you got to throw on, I think, even to a certain extent, Britney Spears, because it all comes down to like women's rights. And with Bill Cosby, what I had read was as he was being questioned, like one of the DAs or like the DA had said to him, "You got to answer it." Quite like he was just not answering. And they said, "You got to help us out," blah, blah, blah. And at one point, I can only think with his lawyer present, the term was uttered, "You won't be charged." Like, let's get the story out. You won't be charged. Like, let's just talk about this. Well, then he was charged and he was found guilty and he went to jail for like, 2 years?
Yeah, I think so. So he got off on a technicality, basically. Then.
Very much so. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can find the.
Hey, Greg, while you're looking up stuff, is there such thing as a common sense law? like, like a law where it's just kind of like, look, dude, you admitted to doing these horrible things for years upon multiple victims. Yeah, we said
Um,
you wouldn't get charged, but fuck that, dude. You're a bad guy.
I don't think so.
Do you
This
think there
is,
should be, or do you think I'm just being, I don't know, stupid?
yeah, I think. I mean, the thing is, he never admitted to it. He
Oh, I
never.
thought he did. I thought he like admitted to it.
No,
Oh,
he never.
sorry.
He never pleaded guilty. He was found guilty, and with all the with all the women that came against him and whatnot, he was found guilty,
yeah.
and went to jail. So he never admitted to it. So he served 3 years out of his sentence.
What was the sentence?
I don't know what it does. The one I'm looking at CNN, and it doesn't say.
All right, I'll look at Bill Cosby's original sentence.
I'm looking for the technicality or how it comes off. So Cosby admitted that he procured quaaludes for women he wanted to have sex with. So he admitted to that. Judges wrote that Castro had felt he would not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Cosby drugged and raped Constad, who was one of the women suing him.
Jesus, man.
Seeking some measure of justice for Constad, DA Castro decided that the Commonwealth would decline to prosecute Cosby for the incident involving Constad, thereby allowing Cosby to be forced to testify in a subsequent civil action under penalty of perjury without the benefit of the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. The civil disposition Cosby gave was revealed in 2014 as one of Castro's successors later used statements he made in the deposition as part of the criminal trial. So one DA, Castor, said, I'm not going to prosecute for criminal because then he can get torn apart in civil court by these women. And so Cosby then gave his full statements, of which, because before, if it was a criminal charge, he said, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to plead the fifth. And so the DA said, okay, I won't charge you so we can get this interview, knowing that this interview is going to be used in court. The next DA comes through and says, no, we've got these statements that he made in civil court. We're going to prosecute for criminal charges. And because of that, it came out that he said, I was told that wasn't going to happen.
So that's, technicality right there.
And it's a shit thing.
That is a shit thing. Let's
let's talk about this. All these women that thought they had justice from Cosby because he's going to prison for essentially what it would be the rest of his life.
Yes.
He serves 3 years, he gets out.
Well, let me ask you a question. Yeah, that's horrible. But do you think O.J. Simpson's doing real good after he was found not guilty? From that point on, do you think he's been doing real good?
No, because he went to jail for that robbery.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, what got him to that robbery? He wasn't doing good. Like, he needed money.
Yeah.
I mean, he robbed a guy. That's why he went to jail. So, look, I get it. He's not in jail rotting wearing an orange jumpsuit, in a cage where he belongs. But in a sense, he's kind of in a cage. And yeah, it might be his house and he might have a mansion, but I'm sure people are going to start taking him to court civilly. How do I say that? Civil court, and start suing his ass left and right. This guy's not going to be comfortable the rest of his life. I mean, everybody that sees him at a restaurant, are they going to be like, oh, sorry, Mr. Cosby, you're no longer allowed here. We don't want you here.
That's possible. But now that he's a free man, I mean, because he is.
But that's my point. Is he free?
Yes.
Really?
He's a free man.
He can travel?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to stay in the country very long.
No.
I think he's going to get somewhere with no extradition laws, and he's going to move all of his money into bank accounts that can't be touched.
Maybe he can. Maybe he can't do that. I don't know.
I don't see anything that can stop him from doing that.
Well, what if he's constantly has to constantly? Sorry, guys, my bedtime. How come he can't? Like, how can? So all these victims, they can't sue him now.
I think they can try, but they got to get that going.
Right. So if they get that going, right? If they get that going, he
I think
can't leave the country. Yeah, he
I-
can't leave the country.
Well, I bet he can. I mean, in
Yeah.
a civil case, he's not.
Right.
It's not under criminal charges, and they can never try him criminally again.
No, yeah, you can't do that. Isn't that double jeopardy or something?
I believe so. Yeah.
Or I think it's you have to be found guilty the first time to not be tried for the same crime.
And he was. Like, they went through that whole dog and pony show.
Yeah.
Found him guilty, sent him to prison. Now he's out on a technicality. See, this is Stephanie, if you're listening, and I'm going to send this to you. What is the legal meaning around all this? Can they try him again? Can he leave the country and try to skip out on these civil suits? Stephanie,'s a woman I went to high school with and is a lawyer. So,
well, I figured that. I figured you weren't just pouring it out.
yeah. Actually, when all the stuff with Trump was happening, I wanted to have her on, and
No, the impeachment.
yeah, like what does this mean? What can we do? And we could just never get together on that. But so yeah, this is bad. I mean,
Well, what are your thoughts, Greg? Do you think this is a look? I can go as far as probably this was something that always kind of stayed in my mind, and I'm going a little off conspiracy theory here. I just am. I don't know how else to connect it, but it seemed that when Trump was in power, a lot of this shit started coming to the surface real fast.
You mean like the Me Too movement, or
well, Me Too movement, people found out for like all you started finding about all these pedophiles. You started finding out about all these sexual assaults by all these major big people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I heard he was going to do was he was going to drain the swamp and start bringing stuff to light. Now all of a sudden, a new guy's in power from the, I guess you could call it the old guard. And what I mean by old guard is he's a Democrat coming from the, like the Clinton, ties. And all of a sudden now all this stuff, people are getting off, it's dying down. And I don't know if there's a connection there or if I'm reaching. I have no idea. It's just something that's come to mind. That's all. It's just something that I'm not saying like, oh, put Trump back in office. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is something I've noticed.
I think I understand why you're seeing it like that.
Yeah.
When Trump was saying drain the swamp, I believe he was talking politically. He wasn't.
I think he was too, but
he wasn't talking about let's get Jeffrey Epstein murdered and move on from there.
I don't think he murdered him.
No, I don't think he did either. But
didn't somebody else just recently die that was connected to that? Somebody just recently died that was...
There was a finance guy who was held in prison in Spain, and just before he could get extradited to the U.S., he
killed him?
was found dead. I think that could be like a whole CIA operative, like analysts.
Okay.
Like, I would see. That could be something that we're going to get a movie about in 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
But I don't think that what's going on with Cosby has anything to do with anybody's political motivations.
No.
I think no, because they have it. A DA fucked up and made a promise that he shouldn't have made, and they took advantage of that and got him out of prison.
So I'm connecting a dot that doesn't necessarily need to be connected, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
it's fair. I don't know.
I think the timing is coincidental, but I don't know what the Biden administration would gain from Bill Cosby not being, well, he's still a rapist, but not serving time. Like, what's that mean for them?
If I wanted to connect it real quick, I could just say money from somewhere going to somebody's pocket to further something.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
But I don't think Cosby's I don't think he's a liberal.
yeah, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have friends that are.
Mm.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. My point was just that, I mean, I didn't hear, what's this Franco thing?
Oh, we're moving on to that. Well, first, okay, so I think the real effect that they're going to have, and I think this is where we can tie it into the Franco case, is, part of the Me Too movement was trying to get women to speak up and take action, because so many women are assaulted like each year, each day, and they don't bring it up because they're like, nothing will happen. And part of Me Too was like, no, if you speak up, things will happen. Things are changing.
Yeah.
We can get the legal system to actually prosecute and go after these guys.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened with Cosby. But here we are 3 years later, and he's let out of prison on a technicality. Right. So that I just, women that are experiencing that, I think, yes, this is something where you could look at that and say, see, it doesn't matter what we do. Why report it and turn everybody's life upside down if this guy's only going to serve time and get off anyway? And actually have like, oh, his whole record is now expunged because somebody screwed up.
Again, this is the part I'm having a hard time following you on. You're acting like he's going to be able to walk into the street, pick up his stand-up, and everybody's going to be going to him and cheering for him and watching the Cosby Show again. And
No. I think the court of public opinion is different.
I mean, that's huge too, though.
It is huge. Like, yeah, I don't think he's going back to his career.
No, I think he's going to be a recluse. He's going to be like in his house the rest of his life.
I think he's going to be on vacation the rest of his life. I think he still has millions. I mean, and we're talking, when you compared him to OJ, Bill Cosby could squish OJ financially, even when they were both at their peak. I mean, Cosby's been around a long time, making millions of dollars, producing different things. I mean, he's got his hands in a lot of different types of media.
Okay.
And I to say that he was a billionaire, I don't think would be short. Right. And so,
but I guess, like you saying, he has his hands in a bunch of things. I think those hands are being cut off. I think it's like, no, we don't want any part of you.
Well, to a point, but like, I mean, to compare him to like Will Smith in his level of diversification,
okay,
like you can't just cut Will Smith out of some of those businesses. He's a partner. He's making money. So if they could buy him out,
I think you can.
It all depends on the contract, but no, you can't. I mean,
I think you can because he was in jail, like for a really horrible thing, and everybody that could. I guess I see what you're saying. Maybe there's some
a board of
contract that they can't get him out.
If there's a board of directors, maybe they could say this doesn't look good for us. We can't be associated with you. We're done. But he still has a buyout. So that's where all the civil court, they're going to be going after his money in the civil court.
Right.
Because the criminal court, they're not going after his money.
I guess that's what I'm talking about. I don't think, yes, according to the law, he is a free man, record expunged. But in the real world, he's going to be hounded. He's never going to be allowed to just sit down and have a cup of coffee at a restaurant unless he buys out the restaurant. Like, he has to go above and beyond just to go to the store.
I think he'll take his money and he'll move to Belize or some other tropical locale, open up a tiki bar or a string of tiki bars that he has somebody else run for him, and he will be on vacation for the rest of his life, which isn't very long because the dude is old and he's got a lot of other issues.
I don't think so, because like we just got done saying, and I guess we should have this girl on, but all those civil lawsuits could keep you home. You may not be allowed to leave.
Can they? Can you? I mean, criminally, I understand they say you're a travel risk, you can't travel, but a civil lawsuit is different.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to win civil lawsuits. I think he's going to lose those, and so now he's going to be. I'm going to try. That's a really good question. I don't know if you're a civil. Can you leave the country of a civil lawsuit?
Looking that up.
Yeah, me too.
Pending civil case. In some cases, you may be asked to surrender your passport to the court until the conclusion of your trial. If you are not deemed a flight risk, you won't be held to a specific travel restrictions. However, you won't be completely free to roam the planet. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway,
So how this ties into the Franco case?
Yeah.
Is he was accused of sexual harassment by a woman.
Couple.
It isn't his first accusation either. And the headline came out, excuse me, that he paid 2.2 million and settled the case. And some people might be looking at that saying, good for her. She just got 2.2 million. And a lot of people are saying, no, that's 2.2 million in hush money. Like, he could have been found guilty. He could have gone to jail. And instead, he settled for 2.2 million. Where if he does one more movie, he was making what, 20 something a movie, 20 million?
No, he was
You don't
never
think
that
so?
popular. No, he was never that popular. If he was on the producing end or the screenwriting end, then yeah, maybe he had more money than he was getting as an actor. But I can't see him ever getting paid 20 million to just act.
Well, okay, the not just act, but
yeah. But I know what you mean.
Oscar. I know what you mean.
I know what you mean.
He was winning awards for his movies. So he was getting, I keep saying DeFranco because of the news guy, but it's James Franco. But that's what I mean. I mean, he was making enough money that I don't think 2.2 million is going to hurt him that much.
At this point, yeah. Again, though, I go back to public opinion. His best friend Seth Rogen cut ties with him.
Yeah, he said we're not going to work.
Like, he's not working in Hollywood unless he's a ghostwriter.
His net worth in 2020, so last year, was 35 million.
Okay.
So 2.2 million.
Right. But
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt him a little bit, but
no, of course. Okay. But he's not you and I. What I mean by that is he probably has 3 or 4 homes. He probably has a staff that takes care of him. That sucks your money dry. It does. And if you're not bringing that in anymore,
right,
and because from what I've understood, Hollywood is like, nope, can't have you in here anymore.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Because
so maybe he's a ghostwriter?
Maybe, I don't know.
I can't imagine a ghostwriter makes a lot, but
so yeah, this BBC article says where the 2 women, what their cuts were.
Yeah. And what do you think about that? Is it hush money or is it, hey,
yeah,
good for her?
I think he should have been charged and it should have gone to court. And there should be, like, he's, other than the financial loss that he'll take, he's not being punished to the fullest extent of the law.
You know what I agree with you with that. You know what I don't understand? Franco is actually a pretty good looking guy. I don't understand how he would need to do this, except it's just a power thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's him saying, well, you're attractive. I know you're attracted to me because look at me, I'm James Franco. And then going up and doing a little grab ass and seeing if he can get laid with as many people as he wants. And it's like, what? Yeah, I like, you and I don't understand that behavior because we're not those guys. But I mean, that's what he did. And yeah, it says right in here, Seth Rogen's like, I haven't worked with him in a couple of years, and I have no plans to in the future. Like, we're not in contact anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, his friends have left him, which I think, fine. Yeah. If you're gonna, I mean, that's at least some punishment, he's not going to go to prison. He's not going to be James Franco, shower bitch. But I don't know. It feels a little bit like
they got off because they have money.
He paid his way out of it. Yeah.
You know what? You're right. And I know as a society we hate this, we hate seeing it, and especially now it gets blown up. But tell me a time in man's history where the rich haven't gotten off because they were slowly rich.
Correct.
It always happens.
Yeah.
It's never going to change, unless. I mean, no, I shouldn't say it's never going to change, but it's it. This is human history. If
Yeah.
I got something on you and I got more of it than you do, most likely I'm not going to get as severe a punishment as you are if we do the same thing. Which is a shame. That sucks. It's horrible because that's not justice. That's not what we preach.
Well,
it's not what we try to make our society to be.
But the issue that where that isn't happening that can prove that case wrong is the Britney Spears conservatorship.
Okay, sure.
issue.
All right. Do you know a lot about this?
I don't know if a lot would be the term I would use. I watched the special that came out,
Okay.
and I've been kind of following. And everybody said that the judge denied her request. From what I read, the judge had denied an earlier request from like months ago, so that they could work on this current issue where she testified on her own. So there's still, I think, a shot that.
Okay. So let's talk to the viewers what we're even talking about.
So yeah, since Brittany had her breakdown in what 2005 or
We talking about when she shaved her head?
yeah.
Okay.
So and a slew of other
Yes.
issues there. Her father took conservatorship over her, which means all of her business decisions, life decisions, whatever, all go through him. It's as if she is an adult with like a developmental disability, and she has a guardian who has to make all of her decisions for her.
A guardianship.
And,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and conservatorship means that he controls her money, he controls where she lives, how she lives, who she lives with, all the way down to like how often she can see her kids.
So she's 5.
Yes,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah.
He set her work schedule so that she has this residency show in Vegas, which is millions of dollars coming into her for that. And then her dad would, because it's all conservatorships, I think, are set up in percentages. Like he was making millions. So if she ends the conservatorship, her father is in a position where he would lose millions of dollars of income.
Yeah.
So it's in his interest to keep it going. And even prior to that, or when she was going through kind of the breakdown, like from what I gathered, she had like an absent father. Like he wasn't a part of her life growing up or anything like that. And then all of a sudden when she started to not being able to handle the pressures of her job and everything else, he kind of like snaked his way in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's her caretaker, got rid of everybody that had been a part of her life up until then. And now he's the one making all these decisions, which made no sense. So it's very shady.
What doesn't make sense to me though, this guardianship or whatever the word you used. What was the word you used?
It's conservatorship.
Okay, conservatorship. Isn't there a cap on here, like when you are okayed or
no?
You
have to go through. You have to go through another evaluation to be cleared to do this on your own.
And she hasn't done that.
But it's your conservator that has to approve that and schedule it. And if she says, I want to go to a different doctor to get this done, he can say, no, we're not doing that. We're going to go to our doctor.
God, that almost seems un-American.
It really does, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, her rights are certainly being infringed upon.
Yes.
And my computer's being slow. It doesn't want to look up anything on her. But it's such a weird situation that, I mean, because of the business I'm in and working with adults with disabilities, I've seen this, and it's usually a good thing. Like it's set up to be a good thing. I mean, the people that we support in our programs truly are not able to fully understand all of their decisions in a way that is traditional. So the conservator works, with their son, daughter, friend, whoever it is, to make sure that they understand what's happening and saying, well, this is, we can go path A, we can go path B. Do those work for you? Do you want to do those? And if you don't, like, what's plan C? And that's what it's supposed to be. But when it blows up to this level, and I think when it's concerning millions and millions of dollars, greed just takes over. And so you've got what's essentially a kept woman.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe underneath it all, she can't take care of herself like you and I could. But isn't it her choice to talk about who her caretakers should be?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Like-
I would think it's her choice. I think by now, I mean, maybe if you were talking 2005, where she just seemed like she was falling off the deep end because technically she just needed a break from everything.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if you
not
guys
be
can ever
hounded.
put yourself in that type of shoe.
No.
Let me just, for anybody that's listening, I want you to imagine in your 20s, I don't care what time in your 20s, let's say early 20s, you get $50 million. What are you doing with that? Most likely you're blowing that off, and not only that, you have somebody telling you that, I don't know, that you have to act a certain way and dress a certain way and only wear this because this will get you the most this, and you can't even go to Starbucks without 40 cameras in your face. Think about that. Think about how many people. Now, my wife is notorious for doing this when she wakes up in the morning for at least an hour and a half. That's how she communicates. She goes, She doesn't talk. She rarely smiles. It's just a, and then she takes her coffee. What I'm saying, guys, it takes time to warm up. Especially for some people out there who are not quote unquote a morning person. I get up, I'm ready to sing with the bluebird as the sunshine comes. That's just how I am. At night, I get, But my point is, imagine just going to Starbucks in the morning, and you know how much Mondays just suck in general for those of us that work hard. And now you have 40 cameras in your face.
Right.
Like taking a picture. Hey, what do you think of this? Hey, what do you think of that? Hey, you still miss Justin? Hey, all this bullshit you got to deal with. And you're 20 something. You're 20 something. You're not going to act right. So I get she needed a break. And I know a lot of people out there going, poor Brittany, she's a millionaire. She has her dad making all of her decisions. She just has to live in her mansion.
It's not, though. I mean, if she wanted to, like, on a whim, I mean, when you have millions of dollars, if you say, I want to go to Disney for a week with my kids.
Yeah.
She can't. Like,
Without
she's not
asking for
allowed.
daddy.
She's not allowed to make that decision on her own.
Yeah. That's horrible.
It is. And I know that I'm looking at this. He was
and he's forcing medications on her.
Yeah. So
that's there.
Refused a month's old request from Brittany's lawyers to remove her dad from co-conservative perch, which he has overseen since 2008. 2008.
Wow.
And a California judge denied it, and which is weird because she doesn't even live in California anymore. I don't know. It's because I think of like Justin Bieber when he was in his late teens and early 20s and just, letting his, buying sports cars and then crashing into them and throwing crazy parties and doing all this shit. And you're like, conservatorship wasn't on his table. And
Justin Bieber's 27 right now.
Yeah, he's 27.
27.
He wasn't having, and he was, I think, full admittedly starting to suffer breakdowns.
Yeah.
No one came into him and said, you know what, buddy, we're going to take over your life for you until you get it, under control. Like, he doesn't have conservatorship. Yeah. But Britney does.
This is going to come off for anybody that's a Britney Spears fan. And I'm not saying I haven't head bobbed to her music in the car every now and then. When she was in her heyday and she married that guy, I think his name was Kevin Federline. I think that's his name.
Yeah, it is.
She married that guy. They had this show, Brittany and Kevin. Like, that's when everybody was doing a reality TV show where Jessica Simpson was doing it with Nick Lachey. And they came across very trailer park.
Yes.
Very trailer park. And I don't know if that was for the cameras or if that was really who she is.
I think it's somewhere in between.
Yeah, so it's
I mean, when I watched the special about this conservatorship, I mean, she did come from, let's just say, humble beginnings.
okay.
Like like trailer park might be a push, but I mean, you could just tell, like, if she came from a section of life where if someone does all of a sudden hit it and it starts bringing in millions and millions of dollars, people that you knew are going to come out of the woodwork
Yeah.
and somehow, make a grab at you.
Right.
And
I get that.
and I think her dad is no different.
Right.
And he was able to just get a good grab and doesn't want to let go. Because I don't get the idea that he really cares for her mental health.
Yeah. Regardless of if she's stupid or if she's not stupid or if she should have the right or the freedom to choose her own path now.
Yeah.
So
Or at least
that,
surround herself with people that she chooses to help her.
yeah. That's tough. That's
I mean,
really tough. So
she's
she's technically a prisoner too. She's
yeah.
technically
She's not. I mean, she's 39.
yeah.
39-year-old woman cannot make her own decisions
Legally.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
That is awful. That is awful. Yeah. So this one I didn't look up either, but what happened with Allison Mack? What's going on with Allison Mack?
Oh boy, Allison Mack. Okay, so Allison Mack, who played Chloe on the show Smallville, that's really her only claim to fame.
She was so cute.
She was I really liked her.
Me too.
Character, and she was very cute, in that girl next door kind of way. And I'm looking at her IMDb right now, to see what she hasn't done a movie since or anything from 2016, and yeah, mostly TV. She did mostly TV. I think about halfway through her run on Smallville, she got involved in what was sold Nexium, which was sold as a women's leadership group, a women's development group.
Right.
And and I read accounts of she was taking her co-stars from Smallville, the female co-stars in to be like, hey, I got this thing I want to show you. And they're like, not really for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to join. But it seemed to have an MLM kind of feel to it.
MLM? Multi-level marketing.
Yeah. Okay. Anything where your friend wants to sell you a juice or a workout program or whatever. And they said no thanks. And I'm not even ragging on MLMs. That's just the feel that they got. Well, in the upper echelons of this Nexium, it became like a cult. There was a cult status, and she became the second in command to the lead guy, David something.
Yeah. Why are they always called David?
Oh, I honestly didn't think we were going to cover all these tonight, so I didn't bring up the.
That's right.
Sorry.
So yeah, they became a sex cult.
Yeah. It her job was to look at women in the organization.
Yeah.
And hand select them to be a part of this guy's harem.
Yes.
And being a part of the harem they would get branded.
But didn't she have her own signature of her brand, the brand, like Allison Mack approved brand or something like that?
Yeah, the brand was a mix of his letters and her letters kind of interjoined to make a symbol. Yeah. And that was the brand. And I mean, she was the one holding women down as they got branded.
Yeah.
And was from the first article I read, it wasn't just okay, now go have sex with our leader. I mean, she was having sex with them too. It was
orgies.
Orgies of a bunch of women and one dude.
Jesus.
And all based on, slavery and control.
Yeah.
And so This guy gets arrested for all of these kind of crimes.
Yeah.
And she gets arrested for her participation in these crimes. And so this has been going on for a couple years. And
did she get off? Did she get off? She's done?
Didn't get off. Like, she's going to serve 3 years.
That's it.
Sentenced for 3 years in her role in this. So here it is, 3 years, and also a $20,000 fine. And you go, what the fuck? And it wasn't David. It was Keith Rainier was his name.
Keith Rainier. That's
Keith
right.
Rainier. And he got 120 years in prison for racketeering and sex trafficking. But they're saying she provided a lot of information. Like, this is like her deal.
Yeah.
Like, she's the one who gave up all the information to the feds to, like, after the fact. Like, after they were both busted and arrested, I guess she opened up, gave all the information.
So she struck a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know, the guy that played Lex Luthor, he has his podcast. He has a podcast.
Yeah,
it's
Michael
pretty
Rosenbaum.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He talked about this a little bit, not a lot. And all he really said was basically that he had no idea she was doing this. He said he heard small little things, and she invited him. Oh, he said that he was throwing a party. She said, hey, she was invited. When he opened the door, it was her and like the entire cult was coming into his house.
Really?
And he's like, what the fuck's going on? And then he said, like, I went to, do something else for the party. I came back there in my refrigerator cooking tacos. And he said, and then there were a couple in my bedroom. And I was like, okay, Allison, you got to get all these people fucking out of my house right now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what's going on with your friends, but you need to all leave. And then he said that it got awkward from that moment on with them.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I remember him talking, I forgot who he was talking to about that on his podcast, but he said basically he had no idea anything like that was going on, but he said he met them at that party that he threw. Something like that. And I'm sure if you look up Mike Rosenbaum talks about Allison Mack on his podcast, that'll come up.
Exactly what I'm typing right now.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll come up because he talks about it.
Oh, was he talking with Clark? Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling speak out.
No, he wasn't talking to Tom Welling at the time.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe Rosenbaum was on somebody else's podcast. Who's that one Asian guy that has a podcast that is like he runs in the same circles as Joe Rogan.
Yeah. He's a comedian.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Little he's pudgy. He has a beautiful like girlfriend. I don't know if that's his wife. Beautiful that shares the podcast with him. Forgot what his Tom Choi or no, that's wrong.
It's not Joe Coy. That's who you're trying to say.
No, I don't think so. No.
Anyway,
his podcast is called like Tiger Blood or Tiger.
Yeah, the Asian guy's podcast is.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I've never actually listened to him.
Tiger Milk or something like that.
But Inside of You is the name of Michael Rosenbaum.
Yes. It's a great one. It's a good podcast.
When I had to drive, I had a 6 or 7 hour drive, and I just killed episodes of his podcast the whole way back home. I remember that. But he said I didn't know anything about it. I was very surprised to read anything about it. Oh, Welling said that. He said it sounds bizarre. Allison was always a very nice person to me. He said it's funny that people that you think you know, or that would have or that we would have some perspective on this. Like he's like, Tom Welling's like, I don't know shit about it.
Yeah. I heard the girl that played Lana Lang in that show.
Yeah, she went to one of the meetings.
Yeah, she went to one of the meetings and said, "Yeah, that's not for me."
Yeah, that's what I was read when they tried Kristen Couric, something like that.
Yeah.
She went to it and she was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
So she.
I always wonder if I would fall for a cult. Like, I always sit there and wonder, and sometimes I sit there and think to myself, I think I could get suckered into that for about a week and go, wait a fucking minute.
There's always some point where you just got to go, what are we doing? What's this now? So yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
yeah,
My point with bringing this up
yes,
in connection with Bill Cosby and Britney Spears and James Franco is that this is another loss for women that have been abused or and whatnot, and that yes, she provided state's evidence, and obviously she made a deal, but at the same time, she's getting off light. I mean,
yeah. Have
she's
you
getting.
talked to your significant other about this, and where does she stand with this, all this stuff? Have you
You know what? You
have
know
you
what?
guys had discussions or no?
About Bill we did,
Yeah,
and about Franco we did, but I don't think we did about Allison Mack. I don't think she
yeah.
knows that she only got 3 years.
That is such a weird. The Allison Mack thing is so weird because it's not like this regular cult where they think a UFO is going to come down and pick them up. It's just you look at this guy. He's not good looking.
Well,
He's not. It's just like, what did he sell them on? I don't understand.
I
Like,
I don't know. I mean, he was indicted on sex trafficking and racketeering because he was taking money. Like
yeah.
that's part of his thing is like,
Well,
because
then the part of all cults.
well, no, I don't think so. I don't think Charlie Manson was taking money. Um, but it was like you had to pay in to be a part of this cult or to be a part of this company. Nexium it all offered self-improvement workshops that became popular in Hollywood and business circles. But he was old, so that was Nexium. And then within the inner rankings of Nexium, he had DOS, which was his upper echelon.
That's right. I remember seeing a documentary
And
on this.
that's what that's what he would handpick people from Nexium to be
In
in
DOS.
DOS. So I think you could be a part of Nexium and just get their product of self improvement and development and conferences and have that be it. But as you worked your way up, and probably if you recruited enough people, they're like, oh, this person has charisma,
Yeah, this
and
person believes. And
and
I like her cleavage. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yep.
that's probably what he did.
During a 12-year relation, so this was a woman named Camilla. During a 12-year relationship, Camilla said Mr. Rainier expected her to be available for sex at all hours. He ordered her to lose less than 100 pounds and directed her to get an abortion, and she once attempted suicide.
Jesus.
So,
At a certain point, though, when do you stop blaming the man and start blaming her?
but it's all to a certain extent. A lot of this is just like brainwashing, and
Right.
if he's, I mean, anybody can be vulnerable to something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
if they're, especially if it's like you're being successful in this organization and you're going to grow, you're going to be successful, you're going to make a ton
Yeah,
of
the
money.
first time you're truly
You're
successful and I feel like I belong
well,
and
and if they're telling you like, you're going to help so many people, you're going to,
yeah,
and you have this person just telling you this that you believe in, and then all of a sudden he's like, you're going to help so many people. Can you take your top off, please? And
right.
then just keeps talking. You're like, wait, what? And
Yeah.
then you acquiesce and take your top off or something like that. And because this guy's just a predator. And this is what I
Of
mean.
course.
You see this. I read an article about um, a cop working Vice, and
Okay.
he's sitting in like a TGI Fridays, and he's watching. He's sitting in the bar, and there's a group of women, and then there's this one guy, and the guy comes over. He starts buying the women drinks. They start laughing, having a good time, and drinking, and blah 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 blah. And he's zoned in on this one woman, and he's really turning on the charm for her.
The Vice guy or the guy that
No,
the Vice guy
no,
was watching?
the one that the Vice guy was watching.
Okay, okay.
So he's just watching this go down,
Yeah.
and he watches the whole thing kind of progress, and her friends leave, and she's like, no, I'm going to stay here and talk to this guy for a little bit. And her friends are like, you sure you want to do that? And she says, yes. And then the guy starts to say, well, I want to take you somewhere and I want you to meet a friend of mine, blah, 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 blah. So he's like, I'll be right back. So then he goes over to the woman and he's like, hey, I'm watching this, shows her his badge. And he's like, what's going on? What has this guy been telling you? And he's like, well, how did it? No, I'm sorry. He didn't go over to the woman. She left with him and he followed them to a hotel. And the other guy, the man that he's following, leaves to go get a friend.
Oh no.
And that's when the friend comes back. And I think the friend was also a cop. So this is like a sting operation, right? And the girl agrees to exchange sex for money with this stranger that this guy that she met at the bar that night went and got. They come in, they bust him. He's going to jail, and the guy's talking to the woman. And he's like, what made you do this? I mean, you just met this guy.
Right.
And he had convinced you to become a prostitute in the span of about 4 hours.
Right.
What did he say to you? And he's like, well, he seemed like he really cared about me. And he's like, have you never had anybody care about you before? And she goes, I don't think so.
Wow.
And this girl, turns out, comes from a really wealthy family. And I think Miami is where they were. And so she's got to call her, high-powered, $1 million father to come pick her up at the police station because she's being booked on solicitation and prostitution.
Without knowing that story, Greg, if your daughter just gives you a call one day and says, "Dad, you got to come get me," what is the Greg thinking?
Oh,
are,
God.
Are you thinking to yourself like, "What did I do wrong?" Or is it more of a like, "Where did we go? Where'd the path deviate?"
Right. No, I would totally be blaming myself. But that type of predator just took advantage of that. So this woman had never felt like any male really cared about her before in her life.
Yes.
And decided that the guy she met at the bar for 4 hours was a good guy.
Who
cared about her and convinced her to have sex with his friend.
My God.
And it's terrible. And you're just
that is horrible.
I mean, and it was, I'm reading this and I'm just like, holy shit. And this was in a parenting book. And you're just
it was in a Vice article.
Well, it was I thought it was in an article about parenting, but this guy was a Vice officer. So he was giving this story about, the moral of his story
love your kids.
Yeah. He's like, not just love your kids, but you have to show them, like they have to believe you. I mean, that was the gist of that section.
Yeah.
But as he's laying out this story, you're just like, holy crap. So I think with these women in Nexium, so they're joining Nexium because they want development, they want leadership, they're looking to grow in their professions. You start feeding them what was probably really good information for a long time of like, this is, here's how you handle yourself in the boardroom, this is how you handle negotiations, let's do some interpersonal skills, let's do some self-awareness. And so you're giving all this really great information to the point where now they're going to trust anything you say. And so when you say to them, and that's when you start where the predatory stuff starts to come out, and you're saying, you know what, and you're calling them beautiful, you say you're great, I want you to be a part of this thing.
It makes me so mad.
It makes me mad. And
it makes me so mad.
And you hope that you've instilled triggers in your daughter's psyche enough to go, this is getting weird. Yeah. And I think for a lot of women, that's true. I also think for a lot of women, they just go, yeah. And just talking about today's society, I was kind of a different topic, but like sex in general does not have the same, I think, personal attachment
that it used to.
Well, not only that it used to, but certainly not what I was raised with.
Okay, you've hit something very interesting here. So go into this a little bit further.
So I think the idea of, sex is very casual. Like
Yes.
if you're gonna have like you can hook up with people
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay. It's just sex. Like there's the emotional attachment to sex or the emotional meaning to sex, I think is severely decreased.
Oh,
From
the beauty
from
the beauty of two souls,
yeah,
coming together. Like there's a beauty in sex,
yeah.
and that's getting lost. It's becoming an animalistic, boom, boom, boom,
I,
swipe left.
yeah, it's become less meaningful. Like
Right.
I
Just
mean,
something you
if
do versus something that is needs to
the
be nurtured and cared with and
the
grown.
the idea of like the term of how many people you've had sex with, I believe, is now called a body count. So I mean, just
No
that
shit.
that's what I've heard before. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So having just that concept of it, I'd be like, hey man, what's your body count? And like if you're in single digits, people are like, oh really? That's it? I mean, I remember having a conversation when I was in college with a girl, and she let me, through conversation, she said what her count was, and I was like, oh my god, like I didn't like embarrass her. I'd be like, really? Oh man. And it was shocking, but she was just like, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, this many in high school, this many in college, a couple one night stands, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, and I just wasn't raised with that to believe that, like. So I think, and again, to circle around to the Nexium thing,
Yeah.
I think some of these women, I mean, having that society has that attitude about sex of like, no big deal. And now they're like, oh, the head billionaire of this massive company, leadership and development company, wants me to have sex with him. And I think there's possibly a feeling of accomplishment in there for them that they're going to go, okay, sure, let's do that.
Yeah. You're
And
talking
then
about Nexium again. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
somewhere around the branding, they might be going, I'm questioning my decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine that conversation? Okay, you've made it to the next level. All I need you to do is put some ice right there on your hip, and
Yeah. Because
and then we're gonna brand you.
they were branding them like like really, really close to their genitalia. I mean, it was in
Oh,
that.
what really? I was
Yeah.
guessing the hip. I was just guessing the hip. A
It,
place where they couldn't see it,
it
where
was. It
people couldn't
wasn't.
see it publicly,
It wasn't like inner thigh, but it was like I believe close to the
like where the
crease.
pelvic region meets the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not in the
Shit.
crease of that, but I think still on the leg, or maybe it was still on the hip. But yeah, it was.
I remember
I
that was
believe.
popular. I used to see football players have brands on their arms, like they had the omega
Yeah.
symbol, or they had
Yeah.
the. I remember seeing that. I remember thinking, God, why would you do that? Um, but damn, getting branded. What a okay. I guess, guys, without knowing, we've just covered 4 horrible subjects that
Yeah.
all basically have to do with power at some level, at some point, and how, yeah, Greg, you're right. How if I was a woman right now,
I would.
I mean,
In some of these cases, I think I would feel betrayed. Like like the
yeah,
world was supposed to be getting better. Like the Me Too movement did have an effect, and it did have some, change the way some things were done. And
right,
now Cosby's out on a technicality. Franco buys himself out of jail. Allison Mack gets 3 years for for
slap
running
on
a
the
sex
wrist.
cult,
Yeah,
which is
slap
a
on the
slap
wrist.
on the. Now you're right, and like a lot of them, I think their careers are going to take damage. Allison Mack's not going to survive this. She's never going to act again.
No.
Cosby, I think he won't be able to do any of his things again. But I think
Well, you're right.
financially,
He could be on vacation the rest of his
yeah.
life.
Franco, I don't know. He's young enough. I think he's up in the air. He may be like the one guy that had to leave the country but was still making movies
Yeah.
for the rest of his life.
Unfortunately, in certain, I don't know about this situation. I guess you're always one movie away from everybody loving you again.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately.
So, but I saw one article that said, now that Cosby's out of jail, what's this mean for Weinstein? And I'm like, fuck.
Oh,
Are
yes.
you kidding me? Like that guy, like they're worried about, I mean, not even worried about, they were like, well, do his lawyers take a different approach now or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if that guy gets
Yeah.
off scot-free,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or if he just like he got convicted, right? But if he gets released,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
it's like a
and so
slap in the face. It's like, hey, that fun thing we did in 2020.
yeah, just
Now
kidding.
we're not.
Oh man. And so then, yeah, I believe, I mean, and I feel a little betrayed, and I'm not a woman. I'm more
Right.
worried about like, what's this mean for my daughters when they see this?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so that's why Danny, I really wish we could have had you on, because I would have loved your opinion on this.
Well, yeah. We wanted to have Danny back on the show. I remember one time I asked Danny, how does it feel to be like a woman? And she goes, Johnny, why do you think I work out so much? Right? Because I asked her something like, oh no, I said, how does it feel? Like, do women, are you actually scared of being overpowered by a man? Right?
Mhm.
Because somebody flipped that perspective on me. They said, can you imagine walking through your life knowing that anybody can, like the opposite sex, can overpower you at any moment if they want to? And I thought, oh
Mhm.
my God, I've never thought of that. I've never had a woman's perspective with that.
Correct.
It's
Yep.
never been this, like, if guys and, well, girls already know what's going on, but guys, if you can actually picture every woman you pass by today, if that woman was like, if the roles were reversed and you were a woman and they were a man, how fearful that could be to
Yes.
some women in general. That,
Like anytime you're walking to your parked car,
yeah,
you're worried about someone jumping out.
right. How many guys are worried about walking to their parked
And
car?
and
I
not
would
even
say zero,
in
unless
some
you're being followed by the mob or something.
yeah. And having talked to women, like some women are genuinely worried. Like
Yes.
that is there's a touch of fear every time they got to walk to their
Well,
car on their own.
not only that, Greg, we're never, as a man, we're never talked about our patterns or habits
Correct.
going to and from work
Yep.
or the store or wherever.
Hmm.
Um,
I remember first time I put like a sticker on our car, and my wife was like, I don't want stickers on our car. I said, why? She's like, because I was taught that that's a way that the creepers can identify your car. Like, oh, you're the one with the Captain America sticker on the back. Like, that just was a thing.
yeah.
And I was like,
Wow.
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
But,
of course not.
and
Yeah.
of course, this was like in college. And I was like, "Pfft, whatever. We don't have to worry
Right.
about that. And the truth is, she was right. I mean, she had to worry about that. I did not.
Right. Yeah. It's scary. Yeah, that's a real scary thing. Most guys don't worry about walking home late at night.
Nope.
A girl would, a
Mm-hmm.
woman would, especially in your neighborhood. Yeah, that's a perspective that I can only pretend to be in for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. This sucks. This isn't it's not good. It takes a hit. It makes you kind of feel like, yeah, like you said, man, what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would guess a lot of women, especially if you were really big into supporting the Me Too movement and making, helping make a difference.
Yeah.
And then this is some of the fallout of the cases that you are holding up as like this is why we need change. This is why we need things to be different. And oh, nope, one DA screwed up, and now he served 3 years and he's done.
Damn.
And then one woman who helped victimize, I believe, hundreds of women, nope, she's going to get 3 years because she helped have the leader get 126 years.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think she's just guilty. Like,
Me too.
3 years for her is not enough.
I think you're guilty when you bring an innocent person in.
Yep.
And not only that, at the time she was Allison Mack. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I know you.
Yeah, you're
That's
from
like if,
Smallville.
yeah, that's like if I want to call her Willow, but I forget her real name. Like if Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to come to a party? You'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like,
What's going on?
here?
What are we doing?
What's that brand for?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
that? What's a harem? Yeah. Shit. All right. Well, that's depressing. Hour in. No hope for women.
Yeah, I don't think I have a lot of good news.
No, we don't. We don't. We're becoming the actual media where we're just reporting on bullshit.
Well, even I went to
Not bullshit. We're reporting on bad stuff.
I went to the entertainment section to feel good. And I'm like, oh, Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton got married. Good for them. Next one, Richard Donner passes away. Well, shit.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Richard Donner. Now I know you know him from Superman. That was probably your first Richard Donner film. Mine was Lethal Weapon.
Probably.
Mine was Lethal
No, mine
Lethal
was
Weapon.
definitely Superman then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman, Lethal Weapon, Goonies, and a ton.
Goonies.
Shit.
Yeah, he done a ton. So, really talented director.
Yeah.
Passed away today, and it's just yeah.
He was 91, so you go, thanks, man. I mean, that's
right. Here's something that's good. Here's something that we can think about. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard this. I don't know where I heard this from, but I thought this would be fun to walk with you with. All right. If we were doing magic and I needed 5 items or things to summon the Greg.
Oh God. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
I wrote them down. This is what I think I would do. You gotta do for me. You gotta do for me. This is what I think I would need for you. Just let me know if I'm right. Okay. These are the 5 things.
So you're gonna summon me into a circle.
Yes, I'm gonna summon you into a circle with these 5 things. The first one being a Traeger prepared ham on the Traeger grill.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Superman comic.
Okay.
I could have gone with probably any comic, but I thought, what's the one thing that is the essence?
No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Have the cross.
Okay.
Okay. Whiskey.
Not bad.
And then any type of motion picture soundtrack. That could get you. That could summon the Greg.
That would bring me in.
Yeah. Am I wrong? Did I leave something out?
No, those are pretty good. I mean, there's other things you could include, but
right.
I mean, you got to pick 5.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're springing this on me, huh? You had time to think. That's not fair.
I did. I had absolute time. I'll give you time, but I thought we'd end on a funny, carefree note.
I'm gonna summon Johnny.
Yeah, if you were to summon Johnny,
I would have. I would have.
Keep it clean.
I would have Summertime from Will Smith CD.
Yeah, I was listening to that when I was tearing up my rug this week.
Yep. I would have it would have to be a Will Smith thing, but I think Summertime would be the one, or maybe Big Willie style.
Yeah. Probably Summertime.
That would be on one point.
I kind of cringe about Big Willie style now. I kind of go, oh man, I made such an idiot of myself during that time.
But I'm still gonna play it when I'm by myself in the car.
No, it's actually Summertime.
So Summertime.
Yeah.
At another point, I would have a Captain America shield.
That would be a strong.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I would have.
I'm putting Greg on the spot here.
You totally are.
I
there's
had
so many
total
things
time to plan this, and
I would have something that would embody Ursula. So like a lock of her hair, yeah, something that would be very Ursula-esque.
There is a dress that drives me absolutely insane, and she tends to wear it on nights where team building can't happen. There's she always tends to wear this dress that just, I don't know, it's the way the fabric moves or the way she just looks in it. It drives me insane. And it's always one of those nights where it's like the thing that a husband and wife want to do when they find each other attractive, they can't. This is my podcast. When I can't have sex, like for some reason,
I'm like, why are you hiding?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I was going that route. But for some reason, whether it's like, Gwen just needing so much attention and she has a nightmare that night, or just something.
Something happens. Yep.
Yeah, something happens to where it's off the table that night, and it's like this is a perfect night, but all of a sudden,
it's
not.
married blue balls. It sucks.
Yes. And so that would be one thing for sure to summon me with that damn dress.
Okay, so
I'm actually looking at the dress right now, which is hilarious because my
That's not
closet
done
is
yet?
downstairs now.
Okay. So yeah, so I've got 3. I got 2 more.
What do we say? Big Willie style, Captain America shield,
Well, summertime, Captain
Ursula's
America
dress.
shield,
Yeah.
Ursula's dress.
Yeah. 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like some, like I could do whiskey,
Yeah, you could.
something. Actually, you know what? No. One of the I would have to put your mic on there because for the past what?
This guy?
Yeah, like a year and a half, 2 years. That's been a regular part of your identity. Like
I've never thought of it like that, but yeah, I guess you're right.
But every week we're having like you and I are having multiple conversations during the week about tonight, about this time.
Yes,
What
you're
are
right.
we going to do?
That's a really good point. That's a strong point.
And yes, it's still in that hobby phase, and we may never reach the point where we're going to be doing this, but it's something that we've been doing for a little bit now.
Yeah, what?
On a regular basis. Yeah, we're
coming
a year
up on
and a
2.
half in. I don't know if we're coming up on 2 yet.
Okay.
2 is like we hit a year in like I think it was February.
Did we?
I think. Okay. February, March. Although we are hitting our 100th episode coming up here.
We already hit it. We're at like episode 121.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Way to celebrate. And then the last one.
Probably a football.
Yeah, I would say something sports related. Oh no, it wouldn't be football. It would be like a kettlebell or some kind of dumbbell or something.
A kettlebell.
Something about your personal working out.
Something about working out. That's not a bad one. Not a bad one at all.
Yeah, I was thinking like I could put an Indiana Jones hat down there.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I watched all of them yesterday. They were all on Showtime. They went one after the other. I watched all of them,
including Crystal Skull.
No. I'm sorry. I watched the original trilogy, and as I look at it now, okay, when I was a kid, Temple of Doom, there was nothing better. As I look at it now, Last Crusade was the best.
That's my opinion. Yep. Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Raiders was fantastic.
Very small one, but I think they knocked it out of the park with Raiders or with
the comedic timing between those two, and there were moments you really bought. They were
father and son. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and not only that,
and that's
River
coming from
Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
bravo, man. Because I don't think what a lot of people pay attention to is he nailed down Harrison Ford's gestures.
Yeah. Yep.
Like his face, like how that one guy comes in with the bugle blowing the horn. He's like, that's something Indy would totally do.
Or when he was like, at one point his shoulders are up and he's hunched over and he's kind of doing a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's a complete Harrison Ford.
This belongs in a museum. That's Indy. Yeah. He did a great job.
And what I like about Crusade is that you take 2 movie stars. They weren't really actors. You take 2 movie stars of Sean Connery and Harrison Ford and believe they're father and son.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best acting in that movie. Is
absolutely.
Just like you believe, well, they're bickering like a father and son would bicker.
Those are one of those things where I could rewatch their chemistry.
Yeah.
All the time.
Whenever Crusade is on, I'm watching it. That is whether it's on in the background or whatever, I'm watching it.
Right.
Yeah. So I know we're not going to talk about it now because we're into this already, but we've got to talk about our excitement for the new Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe series coming up. We'll talk about that next week. But
yes, I saw the new trailer and I got super excited now.
See, the first trailer you were like, the second trailer you're like, now I'm excited. Every time I watch them, and this is the thing. And this is our preview, I guess, for next week. But you always bitch at me about I don't get excited for things like
You're right.
At this one, oh God, am I? Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh Jesus, this is gonna be awesome. I mean, I'm just
what if it's not?
Don't say that, John.
Well, that's what you're doing with me with Indiana Jones 5.
I know.
gotten me so like not into that movie now.
I know, because you know what? I've been burned by Masters of the Universe before, because the
Haven't we
last
all?
series
Haven't we all?
was there were parts of it I liked and parts of it I didn't, and then the
Hey,
other
is
series.
that why Marvel knocked it out of the park? Because it brought us back to being a kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what you wanted as a kid in an adult-ish film,
Yeah.
because even Iron Man was PG-13. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're seeing stuff like that, you're like, oh my god.
Ursula
it's great.
says that's still my favorite movie.
Yeah. You know
The
what's
first
funny?
Iron Man.
When you go to the exhibit at Museum of Science and Industry, and
Yeah.
they have on display one of the original armor. Well, some of the original armors.
Yeah.
Like they've got the one from when he was in the cave, and then they've got a busted up one from Iron Man 2, I think, and then they have like the golden one from Iron Man 3.
Okay.
And then you realize how little RG Day or Robert Downey Jr.
Is.
Really is. Like, I'm standing in, I mean, the Iron Man armor, the first one when he's in the cave, is even raised up a little bit, and I'm staring at it in the eye. You're like,
Wow.
and Kate did that too when she saw they got a Tom Holland Far From Home.
Oh, he's a small little guy too. Small little gymnast.
Yeah, he was. I mean, that dais was like a half a foot off the ground, and I'm still taller than that. And she's like, "Stop it!"
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. All right. I think we'll end it there, man.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Greg, any last words? Sorry.
Might change it up a little bit this week, but yeah,
Maybe.
know your audience. Know your audience. Check your sources, and beyond. Don't be a douche. I'm gonna go with the Chad Daniels advice that he gives his son when he leaves, which is drive safe, don't rape.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
it fits.
because we'll find you.
Drive safe, don't rape.
All right, man. For the Greg, this is Johnny. Podcast out, everybody. Enjoy your week. Take care. Bye-bye.